Okay, I guess we're on. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, so if y'all just tuning in, welcome to the Soundcheck portion, y'all. Where we're just getting everything set up. Okay, great. Just making sure everything is working as it should. Then once that's settled, we'll start blasting it out on the social meds. And yeah. So let's make sure we're rocking and rolling here. Okay, great. On, motherfucker. And then edits. Yeah, for some reason it doesn't enable monetization by default. It doesn't matter like what I do. It just always does that shit. So weird. But yes. Okay, so let's go to the stream, see how the audio is, see if we're good as far as that goes. Come on. Same thing. Hold on. Do it on my phone. It does that sometimes, like if I'm streaming and trying to watch the stream from the computer, it gets a little fucky. Let's see here. Do it on my phone. Okay, sounds good. All right, we're not going to put up music because we're going to be watching some vids, so we're just going to have that off for now. So sounds like everything's good, so we'll go ahead and send the link out. So if you guys are just coming to the chat, get yourselves nice and comfy, get your snacks, get your drinks, and we'll be starting stream proper shortly. Okay. Posted on the tweeters. See if anybody's watching those. All right, let's get going. Oh, geez. I realize my Twitter is way out of date. Okay, let me edit that real quick. Yeah, I really should change the logos and shit too. It's from years ago, man. Suppose I could show you guys what I'm looking at here, right? This is what I'm looking at. So this is my original Twitter, Andy Life and Video. Changed the bio from living in Kawasaki to Chigasaki. I just realized that. So I had this locked for a while just because I wasn't really using Twitter and I was just getting kind of tired of all the nonsense going on. So just ended up locking it and forgetting about it. Then one day I was like, you know what? I'm just going to open it back up again. So there we are. So now we got that sorted. Let's go ahead and do a little post. Okay. Got that going great. You can just chill with that. I don't need that shit up. Let's see. Okay. All right. Awesome. Okay, so we did Twitter, we did the Foz book. Next we're gonna get on Discord. Ow, damn. My ear is so itchy. And as always, I gotta clear out the cobwebs and download 17 random updates. Goodness. Oh my goodness. See guys, this is the Soundcheck portion of the stream. I know you guys are just kind of like, well, it's not that interesting, Andy. Why are you doing this? Because, again, Soundcheck, making sure the sound's good. And, doing my little promos and things. So, yeah, what is... some announcement. Oh, it's just an everything sort of deal. Okay. Jeez, I am not on Twitch enough for this nonsense. What is this guy? Huh? Oh. Sound live. Okay. Nice. Okay. Alrighty then. So we're just gonna get that one there. Actually, not. Nah, put you back. 'Cause it has been a while. Or not. Can we add another folder maybe? Not server, folder. Not a server. Oh, you just like smush them together, I guess. Yeah, guys, it's been a while. So go ahead, smush those guys to get fucked. Where are you at? Okay, smush you all together. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Where y'all? There we go. Yeah. And then move you to here. And then y'all can come up here. And then here. Okay. Great. Okay. There's a lot of... Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think this is what I'm looking for exactly, but yeah, we'll just kind of put y'all to the side here. And y'all are gonna go down here. What is this badge? Never seen a... What does that mean? Ah, community server. Okay. I was curious. I was just kind of looking through because I haven't Shoot, dude, I rarely use Discord these days. During the early 2020s, I used it a lot, but these days, not so much. So, yeah. Fun times with your boy. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. And then... Okay, that's good. All right. Okay. They can go ahead and close Discord forever and ever now. No, just kidding. Feels like it sometimes, though. All right. So, that being said, I think we can begin the stream proper. So, here's a time code, Andy, right here. All right. We're live, pal. Once again, baby. So, hey, Andy here. And today is going to be a nice, chill little stream. We're just going to be eating some brekkie, watching some vids, and just chilling, hanging out. It's a slightly rainy day out here in Chigasaki, and decided just to have a nice, chill stream, because it's been a while since we had one of those. I've actually been going back and listening to my old streams just to kind of get an idea of where I was at the time, and it was really fun to reminisce on those old times. And one stream I go back to a lot was my initial plans for moving to Shonan. So we'll get into that as soon as I get brekkie started. So once again, if y'all just tuning in, great. Get yourselves comfy while I get brekkie started. Let's do a quick check on the stream. Make sure we are Taguchi's. It's brekkie started. Yep, good. All right, awesome. So I'm going to have the mic... Actually, how far can I do that? We could probably bring the mic closer, actually. Yeah, let's do that. Sorry for the mic handling noise. Here's what we're doing. See how far we can take this. Okay, about here is as far as I can take it, chat. So, y'all just have to manage. Oh, wait. Go even further beyond. There we go. Okay. Alright. And so, as you can see, got a bag of brekkie. And we'll be cooking some stuff. So, yeah. Obviously, not everything needs to be cooked, but, you know, we'll do that. Actually, this. Okay. Okay. So hoist. We're gonna have some noodles and a BLT sandwich. Put that off to the side. Put these in the freezer real quick. Nice and crisp. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to fill up some water for some chili tomato Instacup. Or cup noodle, rather. And I just got my little trusty kettle right here that I've had since, since the Kawasaki. Since Kawasaki. I didn't have it in the box at the time, so yep, I had that since Chigasaki. And so I use filtered water from, well, why not? Do a little BTS for y'all. So I have this filtered pitcher, kind of similar to Brita, but it's a Japanese version called Clean Sui, or Clean Water. And I got the upgraded filter package, which apparently slightly alkalizes, makes the water a little more alkaline. So it's much smoother tasting. Maybe it just has extra filtration. I don't know, but it's the slightly more expensive filters than you normally get. And so I just fill that up. Have my spare right here, which was what I use, and just filter in the filter. So yeah. Anywho, let's get this puppy on heat. Yep. Okay. Set the table here. So itchy. Alright. Almost forgot the mayo. Okay. Alright, incoming mic handling noises. Yoink. There. Not sure if the audio quality was better with me being like that rather than just me shouting the whole time. So, not sure how that's going to come off on stream. But, yeah. Whoop, whoop. Focus, dude. Ah, jeez. Freaking camera. Come on, guy. Oh. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the thing I noticed, I don't know if it's just recently, but the autofocus on this camera is kind of ass. I don't know if it's always been that way or if it's just recent thing. But regardless, so today, starting out, you have a nice little BLT sandwich from 7-Eleven. It's got bacon legs, bacon, lettuce, tomato, and a mustard sauce. Mustard! So we got that. We got a trusty cup noodle. I got the big chili tomato. Whoop. It's sealed, thankfully. If it wasn't, this would be a very disastrous stream. So, anywho, we're just going to open this guy. And I guess I should show you the disaster piece that's going on here. So, yeah, we're just... Come on, there we go. Jesus. What's going on with this damn camera? So anyway, I'm just opening the pack right now. So we have that. And the nice thing is it doesn't have just one tab. It has two. So you can open it kind of partially like that. And then you just pour the water in. So once the water's all heated up, we'll just do that. Pour the water in, and then seal it up for 3 minutes. That's what it says. So, yipper. And the nice things about these particular cup noodles is that you don't have to pour the ingredients in. They're already on top. Because like some of these ones get really fancy and you get like all these little packets and you gotta like tear it and just. But these, no muss, no fuss. Just open it, put the water in, wait 3 minutes. I'm numb. So there. And of course, we can't forget the most important part of brekkie. Drink. Let me get my trusty cup ready. And oh, I forgot to put it in the freezer. Shit. All right. Okay. So now that we're here, I think we can tilt this up a little bit. Actually, nah, fuck it. We'll tilt it back down. Just so I can show you guys what we're working with here, and then we'll tilt it back up. Okay. Get my little foot pad here. So, we got ourselves a nice 3 fruits drink. It has apple, peach, and mango. And of course, we got the Ripper. Right, yeah. Crikey, it's the Ripper. From Monster Energy. It's kind of like a pineapple-ish type flavor. I like it. It's not selling very well, but I like it. So, you can get that shit pretty much friggin' everywhere. In convenies. So, go ahead, crack them. Turn this 3-fruit drink into a 4-fruit drink. See that 3 times fast. Or 4 times fast, I should say. Okay. So we'll get this going. Have ourselves a little sippy sip. And I can hear the water has just finished heating up. So we'll be grabbing that here shortly. But anyway, start off the stream nice and strong. So cheers, y'all. Not too bad, actually. The pineapple adds a nice mouthfeel to it. Actually. Helps smooth some things out. It's good. It's good. Anywho, let's get to putting some water in this little container here. So, I'll be right back. Okay. In time, could have been so much more time. Nothing to show me that time won't give me time. Oh, I got a little extra there. I'll have to put that guy back. Okay, so I'm gonna button this guy up. Put some chopsticks up top, little choppers, and just wait for 3 minutes from now. So that would be 41. 8:41 by my count. So, yeah. Alright, put this water back. See, the nice thing about having filtered water is you can just put it back. Don't need to use it, put it back. I'm just glad I don't have to clean this thing out very often because the water here, especially in this part of Chigasaki, is very rusty. So we have like a community water like electric kettle. But they use the water from the sink, and that thing's all rusted to hell. So, anyway, let's go ahead and turn this guy up. What are we working with here? Still a little low. Hold on. There we go. Good. Ish. Hi. How's it going? Okay. So let's get videos all prepped up here. Where's the that's why. Yeah, sometimes when you switch to the mic, the output is through there. So you just gotta change that to the speakers. So it should be good now. Let's okay, good. All right. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll switch over from big cam to small cam. Hi y'all. What's up? And oh shoot. They didn't flip it, did they? Okay. Give me a sec here. Oh, right, because okay, never mind. There we go. So now it looks like I'm actually looking at the screen. But in reality, I'm looking that way. Because chat's over here. And then what I'm looking at over here is off to the side. But it's making me look, like it straightens it out a little bit. Especially because I'm on the right side of the screen. It makes sense if you don't think about it. Anyway, so. Alright, so we're going to eat some brekkie and watch some vids. Have a nice little chat. Those just coming in. What up? So this is Lord Aethelstan's promo video for his new flavor, Crimson Moonburst. It's a collaboration with him and his girlfriend, Miss Natasha Nanners. So let's have a gander at this little promo video.
When darkness swept over the kingdom, and all light was lost, the glow of the moon spilled down to the land, and into the chalice of one immortal.
I'm gonna grab some sriracha, Jottamante.
Now he seeks to bestow that light upon the people, so that they may stay lit through the darkness. Forged of
Got this one from the Gyosu. Yomo Super.
For those who endure the darkest of nights, Crimson Moonburst.
All right. All right, cool. So, yeah, glad that Aethel and Nan have their own collaborative flavor together. So, should be interesting. Those are really hard to ship from America to here, though, so I probably won't be getting it, unfortunately. Because of reasons. But I'm happy for them regardless. So, anywho, let's continue on with this sleepy clip from CDawgVA giving Pete Premier 2 the most perfect gifts.
That was an incredible playthrough. He beat this game in essentially one major sitting, pausing only to sleep.
Turn this up a little.
Trust me, he didn't shower. What am I going to do after this? I'm going to get fucking drunk.
Hell yeah, brother.
Have a day off
Hell yeah, brother.
I got you a present.
Oh, what is this? Is this for me?
This is for you.
Whoa!
I meant to find an occasion, and I feel like this is a fitting occasion.
Wow!
Please,
Should you open it on the big screen?
Oh, sure, we put it on the big screen.
Wow, look
Tilt
at
this
this.
down just a
I hope it's
skoosh.
a receipt for like how many pizzas I've eaten.
There we go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I am in the lucky benefactor.
Pizza 2.
Back from the bar place.
Okay, so this is a different game.
Okay.
But it is something I bought and I wanted to give to you. You
Okay.
can show. You can show.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
What's
Is
this?
it the right
Oh,
way?
so we get into.
Return
Oh, that's a cool little shadow box.
Oh,
There you go.
let me take a look. Holy shit!
Nice.
You don't understand. This is so Pete. Check this out. I want to show you something.
Huh?
And I never told my wife that's where it's from, so you can't spoil it. So I love
Oh, they
this.
dipped the audio up for that
This
reason.
is
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you. This is so peak. It's like literally Victor. Wow, this is great.
I didn't mean to get you too many of these, but this one.
You got me 2, and you also.
I will ignore the scratch, by the way. That was my fault.
Nobody looks at it from the top, do they? I feel like this was a tremendous success, and I found an ancient treasure. Thank you so much.
That didn't hear shit. What do you mean? Oh, sorry.
I told them that. No, I told them don't tell my wife I named the middle name of our child.
Right.
After a video game character.
I don't know how you get over that one. Good luck. If you can pull it out somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah, it's got a double-handed.
Scissors? I don't know.
This is fun. It's like I'll consider this an early birthday gift.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. It's like trying to remove a bra. I have no idea what I'm doing. How do you do this? I've been
So much padding.
Okay, so
You can show. I think it's.
this way. Okay, look at this, guys.
Oh.
So we've got middle named Victor. I see at least one guy.
Yeah.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. What? How'd you know it was Bale?
Jesus, Pete's dying.
Finish your inhaler. Where is your inhaler? Dude, don't die, please. Where is your...
I got it. I got it.
He brought his medication. Mom, my inhaler.
It's like I said, Pete died.
I told you he was the goat.
Yeah, he did.
That's so
Literally
cool.
took his breath away,
Yeah,
chat.
First of all, thank you so much.
Wild.
Oh, he did. No worries, man.
I appreciate that.
Damn.
This is so cool.
This BLT is pretty bomb, not gonna lie.
My goat.
I was wondering, I'm just adding a little bit of mayo.
This is the original
and some
Choose
sriracha.
Your Class.
Yeah.
So you had to, as you
Keeping it
moved
pretty simple,
these all
but all good.
rotated around, and it's like this very satisfying
Yeah.
way to choose your job. And above each one would have a star. So the Dark Knight, I'm nerding out, and the Onion Knight are not in this game, but
Yeah, the original.
look at that, the Beowulf Temp. And they gave him 97 bravery. Isn't that awesome? Look at
Yeah.
99. That's my goat.
I asked you like a year ago. I was
Like,
like,
who is my favorite?
I was like, by the way, just out of curiosity, who's your favorite like character, playable character in Tactics?
What did I say? Was I
You
like?
said this guy.
I mean, like, was I like, oh, dude, this is
You
cool guy?
gave me like 15. I was like, just tell me one. And then I commissioned this person a lot because I love that paper style that they make with the artwork. And I think it looks amazing on like a wall. And I asked them, I was like, can you give me one with yeah.
I mean, you gotta admit though, Beowulf is cool.
Yeah, I actually got like one. So like for me personally, I want to get something like this too, or maybe something like this with my favorite character.
Who would you choose? It's weird, Volmar or what? Wycliffe? You get,
Yeah, right?
That's usually ultimate, the High Septon.
Yeah, and I basically I wanted to get a one of those or something like an art piece.
Yeah,
to commemorate every Final Fantasy that I
My
did.
beard
So I
is
actually
definitely
have a
not
bunch of those
coming
my
in. It's
living
just
room.
dark
I
out.
love Final Fantasies. I would show you now, chat, but I don't know if I want to.
But appreciate you,
It is actually
Brisky.
really interesting because he's the only job. I mean, you can't change the sprite.
Alright,
I'm really glad
so we're done with the
they
BLT
included
sandwich.
all of the others as well. That was peak.
That was pretty
That's
good.
such a cool gift. Thank you so much.
Now, moving on to the chili tomato.
Take care of the mature sage Pete. The lungs can't handle that much love.
Well, I was very excited because
yes.
I mean, like, it's so funny. I've been hyping him up like all stream, and I was like, you don't have to use him. You can use Agrius, but I was like, I hope you use him.
Yeah,
I'm
always
so
going
glad
hard,
you
baby.
See that tough, you know.
There's that-
And speaking
that
of
little
which,
indie
got us through it.
and he was
I've been going through the Hard Off
able to
online
out
store.
what he disabled me. That is a very
They have some
thoughtful
pretty good
gift.
stuff
Isn't
up
that
there,
one
man.
guy?
I've been looking up like
I didn't
different
get
cameras and
anything,
TVs
I
and stuff like that.
already sent him a $500 bill for my taxis. I'm gonna have to refund that. I can't possibly charge the man for this. That is super cool. Look at that. Look
I
at
got,
that.
I think I got, yeah, I did. I got one of my cameras through
Super
the
cool.
online Hard Off.
Wow.
Myself.
Website.
Because I feel like whenever we beat a JRPG, it's a big deal. It takes a long time. We have a lot of time in this world, and I
Damn,
like
this is
to-
hot.
so I want to get like a piece to commemorate.
Oh wow.
My favorite moments. Yeah, my favorite moments in the game. This one is the Chrono Trigger when they.
Oh, I realize you can't see me. Alright.
This one I got from.
That was a sick moment.
Dip it down a little bit so you can see the,
I
oh,
asked
no.
them my favorite
more.
moments. So
There we
this is,
go.
like, the seven
Can you see it?
when they're on the
Okay,
bridge,
great.
when they're leaving Midgard.
So yeah, we'll see the madness.
Okay. Yeah, man. There you go.
Excuse us in a little bit. Sorry for the mic handling noises, guys.
What was your favorite?
There we are.
time?
I
Cool.
just love this moment.
I
It's
mean, you can't. That's the best moment.
So we got some nice big chili tomato,
Praying at Yevon.
cup noodle,
Dude, that's
a nice drink.
peak. That's so cool. Not as cool as Beowulf in the job select screen, if I'm being honest, though.
But out of the country on business.
I've got to get levels to gain, all right?
Oh, right on, man. Yeah, December. That'd be great. That'd be perfect, actually, because a lot of my friends actually go out of the country for December. So, like, for my birthday and stuff, which is in December, hardly, like, any of my friends are around, so it's kind of lonely for my birthday. So, yeah, it'd be dope, dude. Yeah, just hit me up.
One of my favorite ramen.
There's a really nice 5-floor hard off near where I live, actually.
I love this. That was so sweet. I have obviously the 8 one is.
We skipped the 8 one. Don't tell Mouse.
It's on the wall.
It's the game over screen. It says.
All the other ones, I didn't, insert myself or anything.
Bought my first film camera there in years.
Zero clutches up.
I think, yeah, that's where I got my lens, my Micro Four Thirds lens. Well, technically it's a 4/3 lens, which I later found out. I had to get an adapter for it, but I got that from Hardoff, the lens. Got the adapter online though.
Can I see that one? Ah, yes, I remember this moment well. A longtime defender of my man. I can't believe that you blocked that with him.
And I was talking so much shit about him the whole time.
Oh, I was there, and I was like, Shadow's my guy. And you gave him the coolest voice. Like, that was the canon voice, and you still shit on him. Tactics. You were like...
Yeah.
I knew where everything was there, this and that.
But you were, like, nervous.
Damn it. Sorry, I was numbing on noodles. I just wanted to see what the... Oh, that's cool. Alright. Oh, it even has him in the chat with Mouse. I didn't see that. Sorry, I was numbing on noodles. Didn't see that part. But, alright. I think this one's pretty much done, so let's move on here.
We're reviving a canceled...
Alright. Cool. I'm going to speed this up just a skoosh, just up to 1.25x. I usually listen to 1.5x, but I think that might be a bit too much for some people. So just 1.25 I think will be alright. And we'll carry on here.
We're reviving a canceled undercover police program from the 80s and revamping it for modern times. You see, the guys in charge of this stuff lack creativity and are completely out of ideas.
At this point, remakes are just an undeniable
least they're honest
part
about
of the filmmaking landscape. It feels like a guarantee that every summer we're going to have a minimum of one classic film redone in an attempt to swindling audiences from their hard-earned dollars. And yet, sometimes these remakes aren't even based on classics. They're adaptations of something someone somewhere dimly remembers. And sometimes the idea of those remakes is so unnecessary and so dumb that it actually works.
Hey, stop f***ing with Korean Jesus. He ain't got time for your problems. He busy with Korean shit.
Setting audience expectations is a key element in producing successful art. Basically, under-promise, over-deliver. And that's exactly what Chris Miller and Phil Lord did concerning their now-beloved 2012 reboot of the nearly forgotten television show
37 Jump Street. No, that doesn't sound right.
21 Jump Street.
21,
The
there we
original
go.
television version of Jump Street premiered in 1986. Each episode of the show featured our cast of 4 youthful inappearance detectives attempting to solve a crime of the week, which consistently tackled narratives based on real-life crimes, so much so that Fox television execs were worried about possible audience backlash.
That girl's underage. If someone gave her drugs and she died, it's felony murder.
So the show consistently featured cartoonish public service announcements.
Oh, sweet, dude. Yeah.
They could reach out to if
Fresh
they
my
were
photo and
struggling with
banner,
similar
basically ready to film
issues
something.
to
Hell yeah,
any
dude.
given episode.
Drugs are a problem, and there's a lot of peer pressure.
Yeah, I've been waiting for you to
This
make some
sincere
vids
execution
again.
on an objectively campy premise lasted for 5 seasons.
We have some excruciatingly bad news for you guys.
Do you like some hard off runs and stuff like that? I don't know if you're familiar with the channel Mad Panic Gaming. My friend Jim used to be called Kid Shoryuken, but he renamed it to Mad Panic Gaming. He does a lot of hard off runs for video games and stuff like that.
Overall quality dipped considerably.
So let's buy some better drugs and get out of here already. 3 weeks is getting kind of old.
Today an ounce, tomorrow a kilo, step by step.
But yeah.
By about midterms, we can bust the president of Colombia.
After the show ended, it basically faded into obscurity. Thus, it was nothing short
Let me
of
check to see if I'm still subscribed.
In the 2010s, rumors of a soft reboot or remake circulated throughout Tinseltown. While on the surface appearing to be a cynical play for
There's times where I found that like older channels I've subscribed to, when they start reposting videos again.
Simultaneously doesn't overthink the concept while
Oh,
also
right.
improving on the
Right
premise
on.
with just a few small tweaks.
Cut the bullshit. I want to know who's the supplier.
We don't know. That's why
I forget who knows who sometimes.
It's self-aware of the perceived notions an audience is bringing to the project, and it's actively trying to overcome them in an earnest way.
You have exceptional muscle tone there, young man. When did you go through puberty? Like 7 or something?
Yeah, of course.
First, the movie doesn't.
Yeah, since you haven't posted anything in a while, it unsubscribed me from your channel. See.
Each incredibly stupid in their own way.
You have the right
But-
to remain an attorney. Did you say that you have the right to be an attorney?
You do have the right to be an attorney if you want to.
The main idea at the heart of the film is that these
Rate
people
subscribed.
have unfinished
So,
emotional business they need to sort out. They have lingering trauma stemming from their high school experiences, and the adventure we go on with them will help heal those wounds.
You heard this, huh?
Yeah. Test results, gentlemen.
Yeah, this is not Scotty to the max, yo.
Hey, you wanna be friends?
That's an incredibly primal
Yeah.
and deep theme.
I love that logo of you.
Selling drugs.
Yeah,
It's
it makes sense,
that
man.
dramatic
Makes
tension
sense.
That makes the movie work, though.
But I love
And
that
we
hard
push
off,
that idea
like,
very
little-
quickly and evolve it considerably.
like,
Schmidt
looks like
was
a
an
long
outcast in high
gnome
school,
type
struggled to
logo.
connect to people
I dig
or
it.
be seen as someone worthy of attention. Conversely, Jenko was a jock and achieved popularity not through who he was, but how he looked. So, in a perfect comedic turn of events, as
Yeah,
they
I'm
go
just
undercover,
looking
each one wakes up
through-
at the principal's office. Our twin leads are placed in each other's classes.
Friggin' all of these.
I have chemistry for a few weeks.
AP chemistry.
Oh yeah, the
AP chemistry. No, you can't. You don't even know what it's actually called.
So,
the Osmo
Shaw and
Pocket
Schmidt
ones.
is
Oh
supposed to be
jeez,
outgoing,
I remember
playful,
first
and
watching those because I was thinking of oh, it's original art. Nice. Did you make it or was it commissioned?
Too sexy of an outfit?
Bend the knee a little bit? Yep, it is.
And Jenko, the typically cool
Ah,
jock,
jeez.
is forced
Looking
to
through
bond
all
with the
these
nerds in chemistry class.
stabilized like gimbals and stuff like that. Ah, jeez Louise.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh, love this science.
Not Scotty.
Let's do it again.
Each character is pushed out
Alright.
of their comfort zone and rapidly evolves into more
So we're
than
subbed
just a
once
story.
again, baby.
This movie
So,
before Channing Tatum was
looking forward to
accepted by
the
movie
fresh new
public
vids.
As an actual movie star, this film played a major role in humanizing him. It allowed us to see him as not just a pretty face, but as someone willing to really put themselves out there.
At today's track meet, you do that,
Ah,
and I'll
right on.
sign this pass. Don't blow anything.
Were there jokes at his expense? Yes, absolutely, but he was decidedly in on them. It made him look humble and not pretentious.
Like this guy right here. Handsome, and he's probably a dummy. And then this guy. He's short and insecure. And he's probably good with money.
Oh, you are good with money.
21 Jump Street's brilliance is simple. It over-delivers.
Oh, you got the
It's a
Osmo
movie
Pocket
that
3
aims
now?
for younger
Nice.
Audiences created by people who aren't 400
Yeah,
years
Eric
old.
Surf 6
The
got one of
original
those.
PSAs and weird issue of the week
Made some
structure
pretty good
are the
videos with them,
antithesis of
actually.
Anything an actual young person experiences so definitively that it's been lampooned ever since.
I was part of a special task force of very young-looking cops who infiltrated high schools. How do you do, fellow kids?
Whereas this movie focuses on how the experience of high school shapes us, how our environment influences who we become, and how the experience of high school has shifted and evolved over time.
You punch me because I'm gay?
What? No,
That is really insensitive.
I didn't punch him because he's gay. I punched him, and then he happened to turn out to be gay afterwards.
I was gay when you punched me.
The movie acutely deconstructs and mocks all the characters
Right.
involved in the story. It also builds a narrative structure around them that allows for an expertly constructed 3-act structure to take them, mold them, and then push them to the breaking point. The film sets up Jenko and Schmidt as buffoons who did not
All right.
fulfill their potential.
Time for a
post-high school, and were
refill.
forced with the unthinkable task of
And for those just joining, if you're wondering what I'm drinking, it's a nice little wombo chombo combo
empathy for the characters
of some Monster
over-deliver on
Ripper.
the expectation of
Where are we
a
at here?
21 Jump
Ripper.
Street remake. Normally, a story like this would be looking
It's like a
down
pineapple
its nose
flavored,
all the time,
kind of
but
sort
here's
of
the place
monster.
where this
Pineapple
remake goes
mango-ish.
further. It's not just a remake. It's also a
Along
side
with
sequel
a
that released as
3-fruit
Machina. The
drink
film's third act features a guest appearance by Johnny Depp.
consisting of
Louise,
peach,
who both
apple,
appear as
and
undercover
mango.
DEA agents who were former
So now it's a
Jump Street officers,
4
obviously
fruit
intended
drink.
to be Tom Hansen and Doug Pinhall. In fact, earlier in the
And
movie,
nothing
Emily
else.
Robinson, who plays Judy Hoffs in the show, appeared briefly as a cameo as well.
Hey, look, we know what it's like being undercover. Metro Police Jump Street Division.
Yeah. You guys are Jump Street?
Yeah.
That's funny because we were actually Jump Street.
What? That's crazy.
The 21 Jump Street film should have been dead on arrival. It was a story no one was asking for based on a TV show most people don't even remember. And yet, it not only pulled in over $200 million, but spawned a sequel. It also dominated the box office and almost spawned a crossover film with the Men in Black franchise. But that's a conversation for another day.
Nobody gave a shit about the Jump Street reboot when you first came on. Anyone with half a brain, myself included, thought it was destined to fail spectacularly. But you got lucky.
The fact that this movie takes these characters and evolves them into lovable and three-dimensional characters is nothing short of astonishing. It speaks volumes that the final character beat of this movie is 2 police officers joyously reading someone their Miranda rights. And not only is it hilarious, but it's fist-pumpingly fun.
Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
And well,
Nice.
that's it for this episode of Nerdstalgic. What do you think?
Alrighty. See, this is a fun way for me to go through my YouTube queue. Get to hang out with you guys and go through my queue, which is the lowest it's been in a while. We have 31 videos. We're not going to get through all of them today, obviously, but we can get through quite a few. So it has, you know, some podcasts and things at the bottom end. I have them all organized in terms of length of time. I don't know if anybody else does this, but I like to organize the watch later by length of time. So I put the shortest videos up top so I can watch those first, and then the longest ones near the bottom. So if I'm just looking for just a nice podcast to listen to, if I'm doing editing work or whatever, or just want to chill, come down here. Excuse me. If I'm looking for just something quick, just a quick little update or whatever, I go up top. And I actually have a plugin that helps me sort that. So here's a little BTS for y'all before we start the next vid. So I have this nice little plugin right here to help sort the videos for me. So you can sort them by shortest or longest first. Sort all or just only loaded. This is kind of whatever. But I always have it selected at shortest first. It can only sort up to 100 videos at a time. So if you have more than 100 videos in your playlist, which happens a lot for me, then it gets a little squeaky. So you'll have to manually do that stuff. And then like for the super long videos, like if you put it in the watch later, like if I had the trash taste video right here, when you put it on your watch later list, it goes in order of where you added it. So it'd be boop. And how this thing sorts is it takes the longest video and like slowly puts it down. So if you have a really long video, it's actually easier just to move it to the bottom. And then if it detects a long video at the bottom, that's not the longest video, like say it's 40 minutes instead of 2 hours, then it'll just move it up, boop, one shot, bam. Instead of like boop, 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 boop. So that's a bit of a, you know, kind of a inefficiency with the plugin, but it does organize my playlist by length, which I like, so fun. Anyway, let's continue.
Everything was finally coming together on my Japanese home project. The undercoat was done, and they were about to start the final textured layer. But then 2 typhoons started heading towards Japan. The weather had changed, the wind was picking up, and the rain rolled in, and everything had to stop. I wasn't expecting it, and it left me wondering if we were going to be at risk, especially.
Yeah, speaking of which, we had a typhoon come in here recently. I think this was the same one.
In a week, and I'll show you what happens next. And finally,
it affected southern Japan a lot more than us.
This is the second week of having the tradies at the house.
But by the time it got to us, it started like veering further out east, further away from Japan. So first all we got was just like really high waves, some pretty fierce winds. Didn't even get rain. Didn't start getting rain until today. Even then, it's just like drizzling. So.
These are the completed
I just have the window open now, so I'm loving the weather lately.
We're currently still working on the second part of the roof. They were a little bit delayed because the painters were in the spot for a little while. Now, some of you asked me, do I give gifts to all of the tradespeople? And the answer is yes. I think it's customary, you know, to offer a drink of water or a snack. Now, I actually asked one of my visitors who came from Australia to bring me a whole heap of Australian snacks over. So I'm giving them some Vegemite biscuits, some koala bears and some burger rings. I've got all different things here. And
burger rings and
things.
And
I just have it sitting at the door with a koala, and to thank them, especially these painters. They've been here day in, day out, every day from 7:30 in the morning. So I definitely wanted to make sure I gave them all a little thank you from me. They're doing a great job cutting in on the paint, and you wouldn't believe it, the weather is absolutely amazing. Who would have thought there are typhoons on their way? Now, poor Millie's catio, this is the state of it. She definitely can't go out here, so I've been taking her for little walks.
It's the poor catio.
In the park. There are so many parks. I think it's law that you have a park in every little residential area. And I like this one for Millie because it has some really nice grass. A lot of the
I hope
parks
that's
are
true.
actually sand. And sand means a lot less maintenance, but there are some parks here and there that
there's not as many parks as there should be in Kanagawa. I noticed them a lot more in Tokyo than in Kanagawa, actually. But the parks that are in Kanagawa, well, there's not as many. They're usually pretty good. Like if you get further out in like the countryside, like even with Chigasaki, it's a lovely park. Like way out there in the countryside, that's nice.
So back to the painting, and I wanted to show you that I had my letterbox and doorbell out here, and they kindly covered up the hole.
It's called Satoyama, by the way.
The new doorbell that I bought was a different size, so I'm really grateful that they did this extra little job for me, and they're going to paint over it. I really wanted to show you how they've wrapped the house. They've done such a great job of preparing everything before painting. Every window frame, pipe, and little edge is completely sealed in plastic. It looks almost like the house has been gift wrapped. And I think the reason that they're so careful is because this type of paint goes on really thick. It's not a light spray, it's a really heavy paint that gives the walls an extra protection.
Is
from
this
the
me or is
rain
this
and the
not
sun.
fast?
And there are so many drips because they're putting it on so thick, and it just covers everything properly. I think this
Maybe
is
just
what
me.
you get when you pay for a professional paint job, and my fake grass is also protected as well. They have these massive cans of paint out the front of the house that they're going through as if they are water. I can't believe like how much actual paint they're using on the house. I know it's a big house, but that is a lot of paint to be going through. They were hard at it for 3 days when suddenly the weather, which was beautiful, took a bit of a nasty turn. We had heard about a typhoon coming, but not just one, there were 2 actual typhoons coming this way. And just as predicted, the weather turned bad and all work had to stop on the house. And they said they couldn't come back really until the weather had fined up because the paint needs to dry between coats. So at the moment, they've only got 2 undercoats on the house. This is the undercoat color, by the way. It's sort of a one plain white color, and then the next undercoat was a texture color.
That was good.
And they've also prepared the hole for me as well. Given that the rain is so bad and it's looking really set in, I agreed to meet up.
All right,
with
guys.
Monica.
So
If you remember,
I'm gonna cook up the last part of my brekkie, and I'll be right back. So just enjoy the nice video.
Book off as soon as the weather's bad, and just grab a couple of books. I've got a big sale.
Do a
at
little
the
bit of
moment,
cleanup
and
here, too.
The books I got were only 100 yen. I'm looking at house interior design books, and I also found a cooking for one book, a healthy meals cooking for one book. So that's about all I could find. I am interested in starting or trying to read manga, but I haven't been able to find a manga that I like. I've never been into comic books before, so yeah, if you have any recommendations for a good manga to read, please let me know. I'm really keen to start, but there's so many, I just don't know where to start. And given the weather is so bad, really we couldn't do much. We decided to go and have some lunch, and then Monica found a bamboo forest near her place. So we're going to head there and just go for a little bit of a hike in the bamboo forest. It is the weekend and we're going hiking, so my diet's out the window for a little bit. We've come to Cafe Natural 8, which is along the waterfront. I was watching Monica and I talk. We both talk with our hands. It's pretty funny watching us both back on film. We both went for the cheeseburger, salad and chips option with a drink, and this was 1,500 yen for this lunch set. Since I last visited Monica's house, she's done so much to the inside of her property. As you remember, her house was fully renovated when she purchased it, so she's been adding lots of different touches to her nice little Japanese garden and adding some furniture to the inside of the house. I really like the way she's decorated the house. It's still very minimalistic, but also keeping with the Japanese feel, like capitalizing on the fact that there is a beautiful Japanese garden and, you know, all of the little nooks she's put, you know, lovely little Japanese touches into the house. So it's really retained its beautiful Japanese charm, but also all of the comforts of living in a house.
Alrighty.
It is such a large home. So there's room for studies and, you know, extra big tatami
I think I cooked it a little
rooms.
too long
It's
there.
Just a beautiful, big,
Alrighty.
large Japanese home. It's perfect for her, her family, and all of her visitors.
Nice.
How cute are these rubbish bin stickers that Monica
nice.
found on Amazon?
Amazon,
They
huh?
tell you exactly what needs to go in what bin. Now, the recycling in her area is extremely strict, so she has 6 different bins for all of the different recycling items. It was great to have an update on how well Monica has settled into her new home here in Japan, and they'll be coming backwards and forwards a few times every year.
Okay.
Now the rain
So just a
has
quick little
stopped
thing.
and the wind
I
started
have a
blowing enough that we're
egg
gonna head for
McMuffin
a
basically.
walk
So it's
in her
egg,
area.
some
She
bologna
wanted
and
to
cheese.
explore a bamboo forest.
7.
It's about a 15
Y'all can
minute
see that
walk
there?
away, and then we're going hiking up a
There you go.
hill. And it's really nice to just
That's the last
have
thing
a
I'm
look
eating
at
for
what's
brekkie
around
today.
in her area. It looks a little bit out of a movie in some
Whew,
places. The houses
jeez
with
Louise, that is
you know,
hot.
the little
Ah, the
gardens,
cheese is like
and it
melted
feels
on the
like we're in a
side.
Studio Ghibli film sometimes walking around.
On this side too.
countryside Japan.
Jesus. That is
With the
hot.
storm brewing and everything, it just felt really, really humid on this day. You know that
I'm gonna
time
open the
before
pop the
storm
top
where,
and
you know, the temperatures
wow.
are high and the mozzies are out. It just felt a little bit like that. We found this tiny little track. We actually found this on Google Maps. and we started heading up. It doesn't look like there's going to be anything here, but the track was definitely there, and it wasn't long as we got higher up the little
I'm just
mountain
gonna let this thing
that we
breathe for a
saw
bit.
The beautiful bamboo forest open up before us.
That is
Absolutely
hot.
gorgeous. We did have to watch out for spiders, though. Monica walked straight into a spider web here.
Oh yeah,
because
you gotta
it
be
seems
careful
like
about
people don't walk
insects out
through
there,
here very
especially.
often, and the spiders had made a web across the path.
Yep,
So
yep.
we had to walk with a stick in front of us to knock the spiders down.
Yeah, I found a spider this morning actually.
It was well worth
It's a
the
huntsman.
trek up the mountain, even though it was so hot and humid. When you got up there,
it was a
there
small
beautiful
huntsman,
little
though. It was
clearing
pretty young.
and a little shrine
So I had to
that
shoo him
was built
away.
up the top.
So I got
It was
this
very peaceful, and there was just the sound of the bamboo and the crunch of the leaves under the foot. It felt like one of those hidden places that
essential
only
oils,
locals
like
knew
peppermint
about.
essential
When the
oil
trees opened up
mix
to the
with
clearing,
a
there
little
was
bit of soap
gorgeous
and some
little
water.
shrine just standing among the moss and the stones. It did feel
The spiders
untouched,
hate
like
mint
time
for some
had
reason.
stopped here.
So I
And
just
this is a
sprayed
great
that and just
reminder of the little parts of
scooted
Japan
away.
that are just hidden everywhere. On our walk back, we could see that some of the rice farmers were actually hanging their rice out. They've obviously already harvested, and they were hanging it out to dry. I was just wondering how it was going to go with the rain coming, but I guess there was nothing much they can do about the elements. Well, in the end, they only stopped work for 4 days, and the weather had cleared up beautifully, and we're ready to get back into putting some colour on the walls. So far we've had 2 coats of paint. The primer coat and the
gonna put this
texture
guy
coat,
away.
and now we're on the
And the
first
mayo
coat of
too.
colour. There were 2 colour top coats.
Mayo too.
Now the colour is a silicone, really thick coat of paint once again, and this is what's sealing up the walls of the house. And finally I get a good look at what the colour is going to look like. It's always hard to choose from a tiny small swatch, but I was so relieved to see this colour on the wall. It really does suit the house. It's a lot lighter than the 2 houses next door, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to blend in with them, and I wanted something to complement the orange of the roof and also match in with my garage door. And then the trim. They suggested that I go with a colour called Koge Chaido, which is a burnt brown colour, and that's the colour that's most commonly used
we're gonna
on
use-
the trim here. It goes really well with the paint colour that I have chosen. And look how he's wearing gloves.
Use the plastic
I
wrap
think this
'cause
might
it's
be a
so
really
damn hot.
strong sticky paint that you don't want to get on your hands because they're both wearing gloves to handle this. But now that it's done, I can get a good look.
hot.
The good thing is it's a common colour, so I can buy this trim colour if ever I need to do any touch-ups or anything like that myself. Well, that's it. That's the final look for now. I can't wait. It's finally down and they're finished, but we're getting closer and closer every day. Even with those little delays, it hasn't held up too much. Thank you so much for watching and being here with me for this journey, and I look forward to...
Righto. That's Cheney, Japan, by the way. She lives out in Wakayama, in the Kansai area. I've really been enjoying her content for a while, and she's really grown her audience, as you can see. So, that's good. Then, let's see. All right. Let's go here. Oh, is this a train spot at, yeah, right by Akiba. I think it's, what, by Kanda, I believe? Woro Chanamizu.
The weather is fantastically hot today.
Let's check it.
It's another fine day in Tokyo.
Actually, well,
I thought, you know what, I'll come out with my camera.
We'll not full screen it because I want to show a shout out to this fella Joe.
For the last time, it was a long time ago.
Yeah, the old Sega building. It's not a thing anymore. Yeah, it's sad. Akiba's really lost its charm over the years. There's still little pockets of it here and there, but for the most part, the Akiba we all knew and loved is long gone, sadly.
So this is probably one of the best train spotting spots in pretty much most of Tokyo. So I'm just outside of Akihabara, a bit north of Kanda, I guess, and across to...
Oh, that one. Yeah, I know what that one is.
I'm near to a place called Ochanomizu, which kind of
Ochanomizu.
relates to like tea, water. So Ocha, tea, and then Mizu is water. So
I don't know what's in this river, but it might be tea. Anyway, this is one of the best spots for spotting trains. There's a number of different areas around here. There's multiple train lines that come across. I can count. So 2 on this bridge going this way, 2 Chuo line going that way, plus another JR. There's the Marunouchi over there. There's another line. So collectively, there's probably about 7 or 8 tracks, maybe more. And then there's another in the distance as well. We're calling it overlaps and whatever. So I've been coming here many times over the years, and hold on a minute. I've been coming here many times over the years, but I don't think I've ever featured it in any sort of videos. I've definitely posted about it in my stories, and I know that one of the best viewpoints is actually way up there. It's quite a popular spot, so we're going to make our way over there. But for now, just sort of scouting around. We've got a train coming through. Yo, what's up, train? Marunouchi. Not to be confused with mariachi. Yeah, so
the Marunouchi line.
Try and pull some shots around. It's nice and soft light at the moment. It's kind of like breaking through in a few areas, but yeah, looking good. So I've timed this just as it's getting to sort of rush hour. It's like 5:30 p.m. And I'm hoping that means that there's going to be the max amount of trains coming through, plus the best light. So sunset around this time of year is 6:15. So we're coming towards the end of the summer.
6:15, huh? This must have been filmed a while ago. Sun's been dipping around like 5:30, 5:20 lately.
Yeah, so we should hopefully get the trifecta: location, subject, and lighting. Let's hope. So there are actually 2 bridges in this vicinity with good viewpoints. So let's see if we can work the scene a little bit here, and then see what we can find. It's quite nice already. Boss train.
Nice, nice.
So I guess perfect spot would be if we get Marunouchi coming through this line. Something coming up the Chuo line here. Chuo line over there, currently waiting to go back this way. Another train over the bridge. Can you get all of them at once? Might be possible. There we go. A little late on that. Let me find my framing first. Kind of like straight down the line. Okay, we got this one ready to leave in a moment. Are we going to get another Marunouchi, the red one, coming through this?
Nice.
Anytime soon. Oh, one's just going. Oh, we got one. Here we go.
You're a little late on that one, guy. A little late.
I want his head just poking out.
Oh, okay.
Of the tunnel. Ideally from the other way, because then the lights will be on.
Right.
There's no way of seeing it.
Oh, this crud off of here. Jesus. I really gotta watch this gaming mat.
It's gonna be a pain to find the best one.
Spilled my drinks on here a couple times. But it always cleans up when I wash it, so, yeah. Anyway, speaking of cleanup, I'm gonna do a little cleanup here. Shut them up.
You don't get the headlights on the back of the train, they're only at the front. Let's move a little further around. Okay, Sobru line's going over the bridge. Come on, Marunouchi. Come out of that tunnel. Here we go, you bastard. Oh, we got it. That's cool. It's tricky. Kind of sad going horizontal, that's cool.
Yeah, cool. Fresh new napkin for later.
What I'm going to do... there's one coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the departure times of the nearby stations.
Yeah.
See how frequent they are. I'm going to do it with a timer. So 2 minutes on that. JR is...
So yeah, those guys are wondering, it's just technically a paper towel.
3 minutes on Chuo.
Because napkins here, if you've been watching my shorts, napkins don't exist here in Japan like they should. So I always get paper towels. So these are the most effective. They get a lot of grease and all kinds of grimy goodness pretty effectively. These are actually designed to pick up grease. They're designed like if you're frying something, you just pat it down to get the grease off. So these are actually designed for that. And they're very soft too. So I don't get like the Bounty or the Japanese Bounty ones. You also get these, you know, if you go to stores and stuff, they're little wet wipes, oshiburi, what they're called. And then kind of your standard restaurant napkin, these guys. So they're just really flimsy and just not that good. But I keep a stash here just in case, because you never know.
I could even frame with a little bit of bush in the front.
All right, let's tilt her up here.
I actually do like a little bit of bush.
Hey.
Kind of get in right in there. Frame it. A bit of foreground interest. Alright. This is a little bit sketchy. It's kind of balancing. We're doing alright. Alright, let's go. Interval time of shooting. Interval. Every 2 seconds. Is every 2 seconds going to be enough? Maybe every second might be better? I guess the benefit of doing it like this as well is I can actually just stitch it together. I could fake it later in Photoshop. As long as the lighting doesn't change too much when, you know, one of the trains comes across all of the lines, you can sort of stitch them in. If I don't move the framing, yeah, maybe. I think what I'll do is I'll wait until one comes over the bridge so I can get that way as well and stitch it if I need to. But otherwise, I can already tell that this interval shooting is probably another way to do it. Yeah, it's not going to work well as a time-lapse, as a backup, and it's just kind of not going to time things well. What I should do is just leave on the tripod, wait for all the right moments, and then just snap, snap, snap. In fact, what am I doing? I should do that now.
Okay.
Oh, what an idiot. Concentrate on the wrong things and move the camera. I'm a professional, I swear. So this job when it's like super hot. Kind of coming out with bare bones equipment because I don't want to be carrying too much. To make this better, I'd probably use some sort of cable release, so I'm not touching the tripod, which is only a bipod at the moment. The third leg isn't really touching. This isn't actually really good. I'm now beginning to wonder if I like the bush or not. Alright, let's reframe. In reframing and removing,
We all have that
I'm
moment,
able
man.
to get all 3 legs of my tripod firmly grounded and found a different spot. I am just holding onto it though so it doesn't nudge. And my plan is for this moment, I'm going to stitch them all together. See what I can get. It's getting dark fairly rapidly now. It's a nice day, a really nice day. That's quite sweet. There's a guy up there who's been stopping people to see if he can get them to take a photo of him with the trains. And
jeez.
I think he seems to be doing a good job. So far he's had about 3 or 4 people stop. So maybe the people taking the photos aren't doing a good job.
Right.
Ooh, a double.
A dough bizzle. Okay, guys.
Hoping that if I get a good version of this,
I'll
test the print. Because I personally want one, but also it'd be nice to get my prints.
I'm gonna speed things up here. Sorry, Joe.
Subscribe to my email list, and I'll be releasing some prints hopefully before the end of the year.
All right.
Getting stuff offline, which is good. This could be good. We've got 2 over there, just arrived around the same time, which I hope means they're gonna leave at the same time.
Yeah, if you have YouTube Premium, you get this little thing called Jump Ahead, which is very useful for like ads or just kind of lulls in the video. So depending on how the video goes, I might use it, maybe. Who knows?
No.
You know, a stream idea I had that I think would have been cool is if I had either my phone or if I was using like a little Sony action cam, put that on a cold shoe mount, put that on top of my camera, and so I can actually like take pictures live while taking pictures, because you guys could literally see like my POV of what I'm looking at as I'm doing it, and then actually, you know, take the pictures and stuff.
This is like that time I was trying to recreate my
You know what I mean?
best train shot ever, and I went back and forth on the train for about 3 or 4 hours. I just got dark.
Time for another refill.
Yeah, fighting against time, light, and train schedules.
Yeah. Okay. Oop. Oh, here we go. I know. Ah, mate. I mean, it's a ripping clip, but you definitely missed out on the picture, though. Ah.
I got in stories.
Unfortunate. Or fortunate, depending on your perspective. But yeah. All right, rip to the Ripper. We're all done with the Ripper here. So let me go sip. All right. Okay.
That was it. That was the shot. We got the shot. 2 on the bridge. 1 around the bend.
And we're done with our 3 fruit drink as well. So we do a little cleanup.
All right. Got the shot. I hope. Lighting is pretty much perfect.
Really good.
It is soft with still a little bit of haze.
That'll be after the stream, though.
Exact sunset time. Spot on. We got some.
That
That was it. And the funny thing is, I was about to say,
beautiful.
Is
I just want you to know.
All of Japan, I'd say. Definitely.
That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from this music. Is it just me, or is like it's kind of like early Pharrell?
You know, give it credit, it's probably the biggest and longest of all of the networks.
Anyway.
And yeah, if there's going to be a delay on a train in Japan, it'll be the Chill line.
Have ourselves a little bit of mints, some Mintia Ultra Black. Ultra, whoa, fuck. If I can quit throwing shit, golly. Y'all awake? Yes. They're the Mintias, Ultra Black. There we go. Okay. Put this damn thing down before I hurt myself. Jesus Christ. One of my editing secret weapons. Helps keep me awake, alert, do my thing. Okay. Yeah, he's got a Hasselblad too. Must be nice. Alright. But yeah, this is a really iconic spot for train spotters in Japan. It's in between Akihabara and Kanda. I'd always go there if I was in Kanda, though. But yeah, on certain times you can get, like, well, all 3 trains are crossing at the same time. Pretty dope. So, definitely a spot to check out. Alright, next up, my friend Zach, also known as Phoenix 787, at the Osaka Expo a couple weeks back. He got invited, so he was out in Osaka for a couple days. Come on, guy.
Alright, so I'm at the expo, or at least I'm trying to get to the expo, and yeah, I was just thinking, okay, I'll use the bathroom before anything else happens. Can't even see where the bathrooms are, the line is so big, so I'm just gonna have to hold it in. I don't know how this stuff works. I've never been to an expo before. I really don't know what to expect, really. I mean, a few friends clued me in, but we'll see. I'm expecting this to be a train wreck. It's a fun one. Yeah, the crowd's
It's expos, bro.
I'm not even out of the subway station yet. Alright, I don't know where to go. Alright, I got a ticket already. I'm gonna go there. My ticket entry is at noon, but someone suggested I wait, line up around 11 or so to get in at noon, so that's why I came down here a little earlier. Actually, never got I found a toilet, but there's barely any line, I think. So it's 11 now. Mine's booked for noon, so I'm getting filed over here. Everybody who's booked for noon is also here at 11. Yeah, I'm gonna have a pretty gnarly sunburn. And now I wait.
Waiting's the hardest part, bro.
As it's probably a lot of other people. Just waiting for our call. Okay, now I'm just waiting for the bag check. It's moving, at least the bag check is. All right, well, I'm in. And I have no idea what to do. I definitely need to get me some water. But one of my friends told me to go check out the pavilion, so I might go there. There's a Lawson's over here. That was an exhausting experience. Hello there. Alrighty. That thing was AI. Can't even see it on this side. It's only
Hey,
on
AI.
this side. AI.
What?
Hello there, Cincinnati Company.
Yep, Procter & Gamble.
Here's America. Look at that. That is beautiful.
That's very American.
My understanding is there's a wait for the pavilions a lot of times. Yeah, I'm assuming this is the wait for America. So, I actually don't quite know what to do. I'd like to go inside, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. I'm waiting right for the American restaurant, which, I mean, no guesses as to what they're serving. A burger called the Spark Burger.
Spark Burger? What's this about?
Yep.
Someone take your pill. Oh. Okay, yeah, fair.
Okay, now wait for the tour. All right. That was pretty good. The burger was delicious. The fries were really good, too, actually. Those fries were delicious. All right, Mr. Trump.
Didn't see the fries, unfortunately.
Imagine, it says. So, yeah. I'm taking Japanese because the English tour isn't until the evening, and there is a large group of school kids behind me. Holographic Spark. I got Taku. What is this?
Okay. Oh, the International Space Station. Wow, dang, this is wild, bro. Zach, you should have cleaned your lens.
Very inspiring. So I'm in line
Still,
for
it's pretty dope, though.
Where am I? I don't know.
Dang, that is dope.
This is really neat. So basically, these World Expos are kind of what are we doing things with each country, I guess. They rushed everybody through a lunar part. All right, cool. That was it. I want to get a good shot.
Yo, how to say?
Okay.
I'm at the top of the ring here. Look at that. This is beautiful. Wow. I'm using the ring to walk around to the other side here where the Kazakhstan pavilion is. This is neat.
Number 3 exporter of
It's so very
potassium.
hot though today. I couldn't imagine coming here in the middle of summer.
Yeah, summers are actually hotter in Kansai because of the bowl effect.
Maybe it's because I worked at their embassy in the past professionally, so they might recognize me.
Last time I was in Osaka and Kyoto, I'm pretty sure I got heat stroke. I was like seeing sounds and hearing colors. it was pretty rough. It was during a business trip too, so had to be on my A game for that one. Lovely place. Got a lot of amazing pictures out there.
Yeah,
So
everything is like well over a 2-hour wait for many of these places, including the Kansai pavilion over here. So yeah, I'm not sure if this was really worth it, honestly. I don't know.
I know.
I tried to register online for a lot of these things, but it wouldn't let me. Remember, like I said, I found out I was doing this less than a week ago, so yeah, that was probably one of the reasons why I couldn't register.
tis what it is, I suppose. On the rang. Rang. Cool. Now that I'm unencumbered with breakfast duties, it's nice to actually watch the videos. I do more listening to videos than watching videos, actually, to be honest with you guys. So I usually have them like going on in the background while I'm working on stuff. Or like second monitor. So I would be like working on video editing on this monitor, which is the main one, my 4K monitor. Then I have a 1080p one off to the side here, which is what I would put my second monitor content on. So if I'm listening to a podcast or just kind of watching these types of videos in the background, they're usually there, and I'm working on shit. But since I'm streaming, I have OBS off to the side here, so I can see chat and everything and what's going on screen.
Check this place out, but
And I can watch here.
I'm not anybody in the line, so
Yay.
I'm gonna get some food instead. I'm in a line.
At the Nordic
I
Circle.
got out of the restaurant line because I wasn't moving.
Okay, what do we got?
Yeah, that's basically what these pavilions are, just showing off. I think maybe the crowd's gonna make it even more underwhelming.
Yeah, I suppose. Setting of that. Hold on. Oh, dope!
Perfect opportunity to make one of these things actually operational.
Right?
Like an actual opportunity to make an operational Gundam.
Or even, sorry for pausing it there. I wanted to go back just a skoosh. I was spacing out there. I didn't read the whole, was it the thing before, the Sadochi lemon?
Make it even more underwhelming.
There we go. Shodoshima Lemonade, the setting of the Takagi-san anime. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. Anyway.
You know, they have the perfect opportunity to make one of these things actually operational.
Yep, I'm with you there, Zach.
Like an actual opportunity to make an operational.
Yeah, or even just like just moving the arms and the head around, and maybe the body. At least these three. You definitely do. You know, or just like make the finger point upward, go from like an open hand to like, you know, something. God, just makes me miss the life-size Gundam from in Yokohama. Cause that was an experience, man. Like to actually see it moving and doing its thing. Like the videos don't do justice. Even my video didn't do justice. It was truly a sight to behold. Honestly, it's amazing. Yeah, basically. So.
I'm just waiting in line for this. I'm not sure what it is, but
Yeah, kind of. I don't know what this. Some kind of IT. All right, let's skip around here. Oh shit, was that the RoboDog? Hold on. Yeah.
So Kawasaki's got this thing called Alice, and this is a mock-up of a lot of trains.
That's cool.
Which,
Right.
aviation knowledge, I don't think this will ever work. It's
Okay.
I'm glad you're focusing on this because this.
Jeez, come on, internet. Why you gotta be like that?
Focusing on this because this is something Japan's got to figure out.
Yeah, for real.
Massive issue with too many old people and not enough farmers that are younger. So,
Yeah.
stuff like this is gonna help fix that problem.
Yeah, seriously, like farmers are aging out very rapidly, so it's gonna be a real problem in not that short of time. I'd give it another decade, maybe 2 at the most, to really see the impact
Well, that was
of
pretty
that.
interesting. Now I'm getting hungry, so I'm gonna go look for a place to eat. Not really sure. I mean, there's plenty of food around here, but I want to try some like pavilion food, right?
Right on, right on.
Someone online said Bahrain Cafe has the best food in terms of.
Some kind of.
Oh, here's my Bahrain dinner. Oh, that smells amazing.
It's pretty small. Why are you eating it with the stick in there, Zach? Oh my god.
Apparently there's fireworks over here, so.
Okay, let's check it out.
I'm gonna try to watch the fireworks from here.
Nice. Nice. I think the thing I like most about this area is this like wood structure. I don't know what it is. I just kind of dig it. But anywho, okay, that's enough of that stuff. So we'll move on to oh, that was this. Oh shit, this is part 2. No wonder. Part 1 was a little bit longer, so that's why it's further down. Okay, whoops, my bad. Okay, let's pick a video because we have how long have we been on? About an hour and a half. Okay, and why don't we let's do. I'm curious about this Nintendo thing because I've heard I've heard stories about them like being real patent tyrants about these sorts of things. So this is Nintendo versus Pal World, apparently. Okay. Yeah, I remember Nintendo, I guess, sued them or issued a cease and desist because Pal World's thing, their games were a little too similar to Pokemon when there's plenty of other Pokemon-esque games out there, like, that you could attribute to having some influence from Pokemon.
We can all agree by now, Nintendo as a company has a complete chokehold on so many of our childhoods. From their versatile consoles to their abundance of very high
I don't know about versatile, but okay.
quality games, it comes as no surprise that they were and still are one of the biggest companies on the planet. But other than having a monopoly on our childhoods,
I just love this old, it's considered old now, this old style 3D artwork. God, when this first came around, this was like cutting edge stuff. I remember like, because before the cartridge art was either painted or drawn, or it was like a photograph, like if it was like based on a movie or something, like if it was GoldenEye for the Super Nintendo instead of N64, it'd be something like this, But for the early N64 games, this is the shift over to 3D. So they used a lot of, 3D effects. But then there's also, like, near the end of the N64's life, there was kind of a throwback to the flat style. So you see that with the original Super Smash Brothers, and especially with Paper Mario. So it's kind of interesting to see those two styles within this era of gaming. Just a fun little side. Anyway, let's continue.
and to be known for something else. There's unparalleled pettiness when it comes to legal matters.
Oh,
Suing
yeah.
companies, and more often individuals, for things that other companies couldn't care less about. Going as far as suing a random supermarket in Costa Rica just because it's called Super Mario. And more recently, on October 2025, going after a Reddit mod because he private messaged some people a link to pirate Nintendo games. He's currently being sued for over $4.5 million, and Nintendo says the amount is reasonable and it could have been way higher. You really can't make this up. But other than these comical lawsuits, Nintendo just happens to be in one that is
$4.5 million,
existential
that's
to the entire gaming industry.
crazy.
On January 2024, the extremely successful indie game by the name of Pal
Yep,
World.
Pal World.
It was obvious from the start that it was heavily inspired by Pokemon.
Of
but
course.
didn't infringe on any of its copyrights.
Yeah.
Nintendo was so salty that someone would even attempt to make money off of something that looks similar to one of its franchises that it went ahead and sued them in any way they can. Instead of doing copyright lawsuits, they would go with one about patents. From the start, they had the intention of playing this dirty. And recently, in the summer of 2025, they would somehow get a patent approved in the US that would forbid others from making games in which they have a pet fight another pet with something similar to a Pokeball. Something that's been done before by other games countless times and shouldn't be classified as inventive enough to be a patent. The gaming community was in complete shock. This is truly existential because if they win, this will set a precedent in which any company can just somehow get a patent approved in order to destroy any of their competition, especially if they're small.
Yeah, see, and that was my whole point of contention with when this whole saga was like really, you know, perking up, was just that you can't patent a game mechanic. Like that's like patenting dance moves, basically, and you can't patent a dance move. So that should be the precedent right there. It's just like you can't patent a game mechanic, just like you can't patent a dance move. It's just you can't. It's you know. Ay. So anyway, let's continue.
It's obviously way more complex than this, so that's why I figured I'd have to make a video about it. At the same time, we got a very unexpected revelation thanks to a very unexpected event. Nintendo's biggest weakness that might just stop them from pursuing this lawsuit further. So you already know the drill by now. Let's talk about it. If you were to ask anyone these days about whether there's a good game to play that just so happens to be an MMO, they'll probably laugh at your face before saying, buddy, it's a dead genre. And honestly, they're not wrong. But that's simply because they haven't considered the possibility of an anime MMO coming up soon that's very ambitious. Blue Protocol Star Resonance is a free-to-play open-world MMORPG that has classic MMO elements. You can party up with your friends, encounter dangerous monsters in both dungeons and raids, and of course, you can farm for materials.
Is this an
Certain things, though,
ad?
make it kind of special, like how there are multiple classes and you can swap between them anytime. And other than the fact that there are dungeons and raids with so many different enemies, this game places a lot of importance on immersion and player interaction, like being able to dance in a town's fair or setting off fireworks at night with your friends. But while all of that's pretty cool, my favorite part is the very in-depth character customization. You can truly make your character stand out in this game, and to me, that's awesome. And the best part? Check it out. Thank you, Star Resonance, for sponsoring this video.
Oh, okay.
Alright, so to truly understand the
Damn, that was like the smoothest ad break I've ever seen. Like, I gotta say, that was so smooth. I was thinking, like, wait, is this part of the video? Or, like, is he using them as, like, an example of this? Or, oh, damn, that was smooth as hell, dude. Props on you, my guy. Like, I thought it was like, is this an ad or, like, part of the video? Or, like, is he making a point? What's going on? That was smooth.
Situation, we have to go back to the basics. What the hell is a patent anyway? Many people would probably define it as a piece of paper that gives you, the inventor, full exclusive rights to make whatever you invented. In reality, though, it's more like a weapon. And all we have to do to truly understand it is look at this example of a patent and seeing how the United States defines it themselves. It says, grants to the persons having title to this patent the right to exclude others from making, using, offering for sale, or selling the invention throughout the United States of America. So this isn't about you having the right to make something. This is you having the right to stop others from making something that you invented. Whether you actually choose to pursue
Damn, I didn't realize it was filed like that.
And in the US in particular, you would have this right for 20 years. But why does this even exist? Well, during the 18th century, humanity witnessed the Industrial Revolution, changing their world forever with the insane amount of new inventions created every single day. Countries loved these new inventions because they kept them competitive and increased their productivity output. So how is it that you encourage brilliant minds to make new inventions? Well, you give them incentive. And that's exactly why something like the United States Patent and Trademark Office exists. Why would you take years, sometimes decades, to come up with a revolutionary invention that a bigger corporation can just steal from you and take advantage of while you rot in a corner? Instead, you can patent this invention, actually directly profit from it, or if you're too lazy, just license it out to bigger companies so that they can use it instead. You'd still get credit for the invention and a whole lot of money in either percentages or royalties or whatever you come up with in the
And that's what most people do, actually. They just come up with a concept, an invention, patent it, and then allow other companies to use that patent to make goods and things. And then they make bank off of it. So they don't have to actually physically make anything other than, like, the one thing just to show that it works, basically. And just have everybody else do it to scale. So that's the smart financial way to do it.
correct. Overall, patents were definitely a good-intentioned invention. The problem was, though, no matter how well-intentioned you might be, when it comes to laws and bureaucracy, it always ended up looking like the fresh launch of a very fun multiplayer game. Initially, it would be a blast, until certain players would start to cheese game mechanics to gain the upper hand no matter what. And when it came to patents, unfortunately, it was no different. It didn't take long for certain bad actors to understand that this patent system had loopholes. And when they did, they aimed to take full advantage. A patent troll is actually a real term used in legal circles. In a nutshell, it's a company that literally does nothing, that somehow acquires some patents through some different means, and then proceeds to generate its income by suing other companies claiming that they're infringing on their patents when it comes to their businesses. And one of the best examples of a patent troll, the company that terrorized some of the biggest American tech companies in the world back in the early 2010s. Their name was Lotsys LLC, and they didn't even have a logo. You see, this shell company that literally contributed nothing to society would somehow, through different means, acquire 4 different US patents that were close to expiry. And what made these patents special is that they were all tech-based, but were also extremely vague. And they'd use this vagueness to their advantage, claiming that, for example, because their patent 078 mentioned the transfer of some sort of data from the customer when they're on the website of the vendor, then any company using any sort of chat box on their website owes them money. Yes, it was stupid, but it somehow worked. They managed to sue so many different companies, with the 2 biggest and most significant ones being Apple and Google. Lotsys would send out the lawsuit, and these 2 multi-billion-dollar companies would settle, making a deal with them to acquire their patent through a license, either through a percentage-based revenue share or through a lump sum cash payment. Now, at this point, it's understandable for you to be confused. I mean, how the hell does such an obvious shell company with such vague patents successfully manage to extort money out of such big companies? How come there's no pushback? How come they don't even go to trial? Well, that's where things get very interesting. According to the study by the Stanford Law School in 2004, only 0.1% of all patents are litigated to trial. Yeah, that's right. It means that 99.9% of all patents either never have any issues or simply solve things before actually going to trial through settlements. And just in case there's any confusion, the trial stage of things is what you see in movies, right? It's when both sides go through the very lengthy process of presenting their case to a judge. Another interesting thing that came out of the study is that nearly half of fully litigated patents are declared invalid. This distinction is critical to understanding the economic impact of patents. This means that out of the 0.1% of all patents that actually do go to trial, there's a coin flip of a chance that these patents are declared invalid. They should have never been patents in the first place. This is why when patents are discussed from an economic and practical standpoint, they're seen as a right to try to exclude by asserting the patent in court. This means that just because you're given a patent, it doesn't mean that it's guaranteed to work in court. So if that's the case, why didn't Apple and Google, multi-billion-dollar companies, actually pursue Lotsys? Why didn't they go to trial instead of giving them lumps of money? Well, that's where things get even more complicated. These companies already have a huge horde of corporate lawyers. The problem, though, is that corporate lawyers are seen more like general physicians. You can go to a general physician if you have a cold or something else that's mild, but if there's something wrong with your brain, you need someone specialized in that area like a brain surgeon. There will be way less available, and they will cost a fortune more. That's the exact same case with patent attorneys. You could sell both your kidneys on a Friday night, and by next Friday, they're already packing their bags going to the next client because you already ran out of money. You'll be bleeding tens of millions of dollars. You'll be losing employee productivity since they work hand in hand with patent attorneys so that they understand the product being sued specifically, and seeing that patent-related trials last an average of 4 years, for 99.9% of the time, it's simply not worth it. This is why it doesn't matter if you're a billion-dollar company or a trillion-dollar company. Unless the patent being infringed is existential or you're 100% sure that you can win, it's better to just give the money that this dumb shell company is asking for and just moving on. But you want to know what's interesting? In May of 2012, Lotsys would sue 55 companies on U.S. soil. 54 of them would, of course, settle, but only one company decided to go to trial because they just couldn't stand them anymore. And that was the Russian cybersecurity company, Kaspersky. Look, they, much like every other company being sued by Lotsys, understood very well that they were bluffing. But unlike every other company, they were willing to put millions of dollars at stake just because they didn't want Lotsys to receive a single dollar. And so after a year and a half, and no doubt millions of dollars down the drain, with a lot of company resources at stake, costs that Kaspersky had spent, which meant that essentially this shell company was about to be deleted off the face of the earth. And it was. By 2014, all of its patents had expired, and the shell company simply closed down. Kaspersky had essentially done a huge favor to anyone working in the tech industry, and companies could finally carry on without being constantly harassed. But as we've already established, this was a small shell company specifically designed to extort companies with vague expiring patents. But the question that everyone was too frightened to ask was, what if a company with significantly more resources and one of the most aggressive teams of lawyers ever seen ended up using that same patent troll strategy? Well, it would take a bit over a decade, but we would finally and unfortunately get an answer to that question. And all it took for it to happen was an extremely successful indie game. Game Freak is a Japanese game development studio and one of the 3 owners of Pokemon, alongside Nintendo and Pocket Monster. Pokemon games are extremely popular and sell like hot.
Yeah, I'm guessing Pocket Monster is like the Pokemon company, basically. So it was originally started. Pokemon was originally started by the company Game Freak, which was originally just a game magazine. So they would some of the early. In Japan, they were some of the earliest publishers of like strategy guides. God, y'all remember video game strategy guides back in the day, like the actual physical ones? I mean, shoot, those were like, sacred scrolls to me as a kid. I'd see them all the time in Walmart, and when would have a little bit of money to like buy one, it would just be amazing. It's like, yeah, I know exactly where to go. This is amazing. So awesome. And then when I started getting on the internet, you know, they would have the like game facts and stuff like that. So they have the old like ASCII art for strategy guides and stuff like that. So it wasn't as detailed as the printed versions were at the time, but it still had its own special charm. And yeah, this takes me back to just a simpler time, you know, just with the old school GBA. Never had the 3DS. Oh wait, no. I did have the XL. It was the XL, not the LL version of the 3DS. But it was the special limited edition NES version. It had like a NES decals and stuff on it. It's pretty cool. And the old GBA, I think that's in a storage unit somewhere, maybe. And then the Switch that I had to sell, unfortunately. But I think if I get some little scratch of money, I might get the new Switch too. But regardless, anyway, let's carry on here.
It's developed by Game Freak. But here's the thing. Over the many years of Game Freak releasing Pokemon games, many fans have been getting frustrated over the lack of innovation and this feeling of complete laziness and disinterest. It seemed like Pokemon games had limitless potential with endless possibilities of making different genres and mechanics. And yet, Game Freak just took the boring route every single time. And why wouldn't they? I mean, they sold so many copies. At this point, it was a money printer. This is why many of these frustrated fans would find immense excitement when Palworld, a game developed by Pocket Pair, a Japanese indie developer, would be announced to the world for the first time during Tokyo Game Show. Just like in Pokemon, you would collect these cute creatures called pals. There would be everything a Pokemon fan would want, like evolutions, new mechanics, and a bunch of creative things. But instead of it purely being oriented towards children, there was a twist. Guns, rocket launchers, and overall, a bit more of an adult take on something that many people have grown to enjoy. But look, everyone understood fairly quickly, this game was heavily inspired by Pokemon, okay? I mean, one of the top comments on this trailer was, this is it, this is Pokemon Gun. And you know what? There's nothing weird about that. Gaming has always been about copying things that are successful and making them in your own way. H1Z1 pioneered Battle Royale games and did that after being inspired by community mods in the game Arma. And this chain would continue until we get to a game like Fortnite, making a Battle Royale game in their own way while clearly being inspired by their predecessors. This is what gaming has always been about, and at this point, it came to be expected. What no one was expecting, though, including Palworld's own developers, was the massive success they'd receive overnight on the game's release. The game would release in early access on the 19th of January 2024, and within just 8 hours, they would sell over 1 million copies. For an indie game, that is mind-blowing, but they were only
That's insane, bro.
In under 2 weeks, they would sell over 12 million copies on Steam alone. Bear in mind, this game was also on consoles. And within barely a week of releasing, they would have over 2.1 million concurrent players on Steam, beating all sorts of records and being in the top 5 most played games on the entire platform. At this point, it was extremely hard to ignore this game's success. Everyone in the gaming industry knew of its existence, and it became an incredible success story. But, of course, you already know the drill by now. When something finds such immense success, you start to attract a huge amount of people scrutinizing what you've made. And sometimes, those people don't always have the best of intentions. It wouldn't take long for people to start making very direct comparisons of some of the pals in Palworld versus Pokemon. I mean, look, everyone understood that Palworld was already quite inspired by Pokemon, but these comparisons would blow up beyond proportion to the point where something unprecedented would take place. The Pokemon Company International would personally make a statement, something that you see extremely rarely, in which they would very obviously indirectly call out Palworld personally, saying, inquiries regarding other companies' games. We have received many inquiries regarding another company's game released in January 2024. I mean, come on, that's literally Palworld. We have not granted any permission for the use of Pokemon intellectual property or assets in that game. We intend to investigate and take appropriate measures to address any acts that infringe on intellectual property rights related to Pokemon. We will continue to cherish and nurture each and every Pokemon in its world and work to bring the world together for Pokemon in the future. Signed, the Pokemon Company. But look, the reason why the statement was so significant was because the Pokemon Company never spoke personally about such things. And I mean, why would they? Yeah, they're owned by 3 different companies, but Nintendo, even though owning just 1/3, actually owns all the copyrights involved with anything related to Pokemon. This is why they typically do the suing for them. And so it was official. After this very rare statement from the Pokemon Company International, it was clear. Palworld had a huge target on its back, and Nintendo was aiming to take full advantage. They were very salty about seeing a game take so much inspiration from Pokemon and being so extremely successful. And on January 25th, 2024, barely a couple of weeks after Palworld had come out, and on the same day the Pokemon Company International would make its very rare statement, Nintendo would formally announce that they would begin an investigation into Palworld and its assets. But what does investigation mean? I mean, they didn't really infringe directly on anything Pokemon related. People were hoping that this would die down, that it just proves to be some sort of misunderstanding. What they could have never predicted beyond their wildest dreams, though, was that a company like Nintendo was about to take direct inspiration from shell companies such as Lotsis. Almost 9 months after the Pokemon Company International would announce that they're taking steps to investigate Palworld, on September 19th, 2024, Nintendo would announce that they're officially filing a lawsuit for infringement of patent rights against Pocket Pair, the developer of Palworld. This statement, however, didn't specify any of the patents that they're actually suing Palworld over, and on the same day, Pocket Pair would also make a statement saying that, hey, we're aware of the lawsuit, we began the legal proceedings and investigations, but we're literally unaware of the specific patents we're being accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. In other words, Pocket Pair was as clueless as we are about what they were exactly doing that was illegal here. It would only be almost a month later, on November 8th, 2024, that Pocket Pair would finally understand what the patents they were infringing upon allegedly were. This is when the entire gaming community as a whole would be completely baffled by how the 3 patents in the lawsuit were all filed and approved after Palworld had released. That's right. Nintendo was suing Palworld for patent infringement on patents that they had presented to Japan after Palworld had released.
Okay, yeah, see, this is Nah, you can't be doing this, man. Because, like, in this case, Palworld has precedence, right? Because technically they were released before these were patented. Now, and again, you could get into, well, the patent was pending at the time, so it was being processed, which, well, that doesn't even line up either, because the application dates are only like, well, this one's like a month. This one's a couple months. There's a couple months too. So, it doesn't really jive either. So, nah. I mean, the earliest they could claim would be in February, this guy. But even then, like, Palworld was already out the month before, so, like, yeah, this is getting a little squicky. Okay, before we continue, I'm going to get a fresh drink. So, chote them mates. I'll be right back. Give me a sec. Okay. So, that's a nice stretch. Okay. All right, so for our next drink, we have to compete with my fancy cup from the Lemon Sour Squad. Where are we at? Lemon Sour Squad in Nakameguro. Lovely lemon sour that sadly I haven't seen in quite some time, actually. I don't know if they're still around. I hope they are, because this was actually pretty darn good. But I haven't seen it be sold anywhere for some time. And speaking of lemon sour, lemon power, we got ourselves a nice Kirin no sugar lemon sour. These are pretty decent. I recently got on these from the 9% version, which 9%ers are a little more uncommon these days. They mostly cap out at 7. So we got that lemon, and then we have a sugar-free ume or plum drink. And I like combining the lemon sour and the plum because it's just a nice summery type drink here in Japan. And to me, it reminds me of like spiked red Kool-Aid, like, you know, tropical punch type Kool-Aid. Not so much the cherry, a little of the cherry, but mostly tropical punch. That's what it reminds me of. And the majority of that comes from this particular ume. But the lemon really kind of zhuzhes it up and gives it that extra acidity in addition to the saltiness. So that's why I add the lemon in there too. It just gives it that extra lift that you need. Okay. Oh, yeah. For some reason, the flavors, I don't know, I love the Kirin flavors. They're so nice. You can barely smell anything. Yeah, the taste. It has that sort of artificial flavor type taste, but to me it's very nostalgic. I guess if you're like a real natural food type buff, you won't like it, but to me it's very nostalgic. And it took me a while, honestly, to enjoy anything lemon flavored. Like years, you know, decade plus even, because growing up, a little story time for y'all before we get back into the video. So growing up, my mom used to clean houses and stuff, and different offices and things like that on the weekends to earn a little bit of extra cash. So she'd take us boys along with her to help with cleaning. So we'd either, clean up desks, or another big thing we do, we'd polish the furniture. So if they had like wood furniture, things like that, or wood fittings to furniture, we would take Pledge, just spray it, just wipe it down. And most of the cleaning products back then were lemon scented. And it wasn't until the early 2000s when we'd see the surge in orange scented flavors and a little less on the lemon. But yeah, lemon was huge. It was in like all the cleaning products. And so whenever I would taste anything lemon flavored, there was like lemonade or like lemon candy. Like there was these like lemon sour candies growing up as a kid. I couldn't have those for the longest time, because to me they just tasted like cleaner, And I would just be like, this smells like I'm cleaning. I don't like it. But it wasn't until I got out to Japan to where I could actually enjoy lemon flavors. That's why I got into like lemon sours and things like that. Because before I would, stick with like grapefruit. Grapefruit was my go-to when I first got out to Japan. I was stationed in Yokosuka. I get the 9% grapefruit. And if they have any seasonal flavors, I'd get into those too. But grapefruit was my go-to. It's the Kirin Strong, 9% grapefruit. That's my OG. It's my day one right there. So say all that to say that I have a soft spot in my heart for Kirin. So, and Husenberg, let's carry on.
Region. How the hell is that even possible? Well, we'll get to that. But for now, let's take a look at these patents. Well, first things first, just in case this wasn't obvious, Nintendo was suing Pocket Pair in Japan since they were both Japanese developers. Hence why we're discussing Japanese patents.
Right.
2 out of the 3 of these patents involve you using a Pokeball. In Pokemon games, you use a Pokeball to either capture a creature or summon a creature. In Pal World, there are no Pokeballs, but there are Pal Spheres. Yes, of course, they're a direct inspiration of Pokeballs, but this mechanic wasn't patented at the time. The third patent was about flying your pals in the air. But this one was very specific. It was about how when you would fall in Pal World, you could summon your pal to pick you up mid-air. And of course, just like the other...
Chottomate. Okay, so... the Pokeball thing, while I don't agree with this at all, just on the basis of you can't patent a game mechanic, just like you can't patent a dance. That's my go-to. That's my overall stance on things. However, while I don't agree with it, I do understand why they would go after the Pokeball, Pal Sphere mechanic, because that's like a signature mechanic with Pokemon. So I understand that. This, however, can eat a fucking dick, because this Pokemon didn't start doing this type of shit until Arceus is when you got like a little Pokepal to like fly around on and like skip certain stages and stuff like that. So this is a fairly recent mechanic, even by Pokemon standards. I mean, yes, technically you had in Gen 1, you could like fly to different locations and it'd just be a teleport. Like you're not like physically flying around Celadon City and shit like that. Like you're flying to Celadon City, you're flying from Celadon City, for example. But you're not flying around it. And this is a fairly recent mechanic, even by Pokemon standards. And they've had this sort of mechanic in games way before Pokemon was even a thing. Like, shoot, man. And even when Pokemon was a thing, before this was a thing in Pokemon, there's plenty of other games that did it. So no, this flying start nonsense can eat a fucking dick. This is just baseless. However, I will say the Pokesphere thing, Pokemon, the Pokeball, Pal Sphere thing, I don't agree with it, but I at least understand it. This is just nonsense.
In 2024, after Pal World had released.
Yep.
So how the hell is this even possible? Well, it's simple. That's because these 3 patents were filed as divisional patents. What the hell is a divisional patent?
Yes,
well,
what is a
rocket
divisional
ship.
patent?
Let's say you're SpaceX. You want to patent this rocket ship. Great.
Okay.
You make a general patent that pretty much covers this entire rocket ship, every component. But you don't delve too much into details. Now, let's say you filed that patent in 2020. A few years pass by and you finalize the design of the rocket boosters. You're happy with it and you're ready to patent that too. This is when you would create a divisional patent. It would be its own patent, sure, but it would fall under the general patent of the rocket ship. So even
so it's like a new part of it, it. Okay, I see. The vision, if you will. Okay, gotcha.
You would be filing this, let's say, 3 years later, in 2023, it would still be a part of the general patent from 2020 that covered generally the entire rocket ship.
Right
now,
on.
in this context, of course, it makes total sense. But when it comes to software, patents get very tricky, and Nintendo knows this. This is why they're taking full advantage. The original and more general parent patent was filed in 2021 by Nintendo. It had to do with the many generalized game mechanics involving the game Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. These 3 divisional patents that were filed in 2024 aimed to complete the more generalized parent patent from 2021. So yeah, you see where this is going, right? Nintendo was playing dirty, and they had no intention of backing down. But unlike Lotsis, who was a shell company just looking to get quick money from big companies, Nintendo wasn't in this for the money, come on. Yes, technically speaking, the injunction filed against Palworld wanted 5 million yen plus late payment damages to both the Pokemon Company and Nintendo. And yes, since Palworld had released, they almost made $500 million in gross revenue, but more specifically, $139 million in net revenue after fees and taxes.
Damn.
But for Nintendo, the money was nothing more than a formality. They genuinely didn't care how much money they...
Even net, like, that's... Fuck, bro. For 139 mil net? Jeez Louise. That is insane.
Got from this lawsuit. I mean, we're literally talking about a company worth over $100 billion. The money generated by Palworld to them was like a penny. So what exactly was going on here? Nintendo, on September 19, 2024, had effectively signaled to the world that they only wanted a trial out of this.
Yeah, so if y'all ain't following along, it's not about the money. It's about making a statement.
Yes, what Apple, Google, and other billion or even trillion-dollar companies feared the most. They were heading straight for the jugular here. And other than the fact that these patents were made after the fact, after Palworld had released, showing us that they had very direct disdain towards the company, what a normal company in Nintendo's shoes would have done is do some sort of patent licensing agreement if they were really that pissed. They would just sit down with Pocket Pair, tell them, hey, listen, come on, we know that you were very heavily inspired by Pokemon, let's not be around the bush, we don't want to take this to trial, just give us a percentage of your sales, and we'll call it a day. And most likely, Pocket Pair would have probably said yes, because they're also not interested in going to trial. I mean, guys, from an interview with the CEO after the game had come out, he revealed that this company had 10 employees and hired 40 employees before releasing the game. This is a company that has 50 people. Sure, they made over $100 million in revenue, but they were going up against a $100 billion company that has a huge team of lawyers in every region of the world that specifically work closely with its developers, understanding game mechanics and knowing exactly how to sue and defend. And now, if you reference back the Stanford Law School study that was specifically done in the US, we could definitely argue that these patents from Nintendo are very vague and probably won't make it to the end of the trial. But you see, that would only be a problem for Nintendo if they actually aimed to win or lose the lawsuit. They didn't. They know very well, more than anyone, that patent litigation is way too expensive in terms of money and time. So to them, this wasn't about money. This was about crushing Pocket Pair until there was nothing left. This was simply about sending a message. Compete with us, and you're dead.
What'd I say?
Now, unfortunately for Pocket Pair, they would realize this actually very quickly after the lawsuit would begin. Barely 3 weeks after understanding what the patents they're being sued for were, Pocket Pair released a new patch for Palworld. It fixed some bug fixes, added some features, but also removed a very integral part of gameplay. You could no longer use Pal Spheres to either capture or summon your pals. If you wanted to summon them, they would just simply appear next to you. And this, for many, heavily impacted gameplay because it was a very unpleasant way of calling them. And more recently, on May 8th, 2025, you could no longer summon one of your pals when you're in midair. Instead, to not die from fall damage, you would have to equip a new item called the Glider. As a reminder, the lawsuit was presented on September 2024. It hadn't even been 1 year, and Palworld was already forced to make changes as this lawsuit is still ongoing. Now, according to a Japanese patent attorney, he points out that these changes by Pocket Pair are not in any way an admission of guilt, adding that Pocket Pair is following the standard 3-pronged defense against patent lawsuits, which is to deny infringement, argue that the patents are invalid, and avoid infringement through design changes. He also noted that Nintendo does not have the upper hand, as there seems to be a fierce back and forth with Nintendo pushing for patent infringement and Pocket Pair pushing for patent invalidity. So make no mistake, they are deep in the trenches fighting right now. And when this Glider update came out, Pocket Pair would also make a statement, explaining to everyone that yes, these changes that were being introduced into the game were a direct result of these ongoing patent lawsuits. They would then go on to say that these changes hurt them as much as they hurt the fans, apologizing to them. I think it was at this point that people truly realized, wow, this really isn't going to be easy at all. Because this whole thing was anything but straightforward. Nintendo wasn't just playing dirty. They had pretty much stooped lower than a company like Lotsis. On July 2025, so fairly recently, they rewrote a patent in Japan mid-case during the ongoing lawsuit against Palworld. Nintendo was getting desperate. Its flying patent wasn't really holding up as well as they wanted to.
Yeah, no shit.
So in one of the...
No fucking shit. That flying patent is completely baseless. The Pokeball one, again, I don't agree with it, but there's a little more to it than certainly the flying patent. That's just like, the fuck.
The first cases some lawyers have ever seen, they use some very weird language in the patent update, adding the term even when, making a lawyer say, I've been following patent litigation for 15 years and have seen many claims that were amended, but I've never seen even when or even if in a patent claim. It's bizarre. Nintendo was essentially using this language to try and complicate things and make this patent even more vague than it already is. This is because, as I said, their intention was to prolong this as much as possible, to drown Palworld in paperwork, hoping to bankrupt them pretty much and erase them from existence. But this dirty tactic was nothing more than them actually panicking. Pocket Pair was actually doing a pretty damn good job, coming up with a lot of examples that show that even before 2021, all of these patents were already used by prior games. So if Palworld can actually survive this lawsuit and see it till the end, even though it might take a very long time, they might not only end up winning, but make many of the patents Nintendo had filed to be invalid. Thing is, though, you'd be naive if you thought that it was going to be that easy with Nintendo. Their legal team played dirty, and just as Palworld was starting to gain some sort of a fighting chance in Japan, Nintendo was aiming to create a war on 2 fronts. Ever since 2004, the US Patent Office has been absolutely swamped by a huge backlog. Barely able to keep up, being understaffed. I mean, you already know the drill. This is just another government agency in a first world country in the 21st century. But due to this understaffing and the fact that they have so many applications to go through, there's historically been many people who criticize the Patent Office for being pretty inconsistent with their decisions on what is a valid patent and what isn't. This inconsistency would initially show itself in February 2025 when Nintendo was gearing for a US patent lawsuit against Palworld. They would present 23 patent claims, but 22 of them would be rejected, with the argument that they simply weren't inventive enough. They were used before already by other games. But when it comes to Nintendo, this isn't really enough to discourage them. They were not only planning to fight these rejections, they had more in store. That's just how much they hated Palworld. Nintendo's efforts in the US would finally bear fruits on September 2nd, 2025, when the United States Patent and Trademark Office would grant them a patent so vague and so unoriginal that it would absolutely shatter the gaming industry in shock. This patent was filed in 2023 and was approved in 2025. In a nutshell, this patent is about a sub-character, so like a Pokemon. The patent dictates that you must be able to summon the character. It specifies things like summoning it specifically to fight, even detailing things like sending the sub-character in a direction specifically to start an automatic battle. And no, you're not the only one here that thinks this is crazy. This is not only extremely vague, but it's been done multiple times before by other games in the past.
Yeah.
By 2025, or hell, even when this was filed in 2023, this was in no way inventive. This wasn't some sort of breakthrough, right? This would cause many patent lawyers to see this in the US and say things like, this has been an embarrassing failure of the US patent system. I mean, even the former Pokemon Company head lawyer said, I wish Nintendo and Pokemon good luck when the first other developer just entirely ignores this patent. Everyone was completely shocked at the fact that something like this could actually pass, and if someone wasn't convinced yet, if someone was a huge Nintendo fanboy that truly didn't see the problem, this was it. This was the point in which you would see that this definitely feels like a punishment specifically for Palworld.
Yeah.
Because if Nintendo truly cared about this mechanic, then they would go ahead and sue Blizzard over their 2011 Battle Pets minigame. Even back then.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I knew, like I said, there's a bunch of other companies that did something similar. And I vaguely remember. I don't remember if it was World of Warcraft. I don't know if it was WoW or LOL or something like that. They had some kind of pet or familiar mechanic.
When it came out, it was very clearly inspired by Pokemon. It was obvious to everyone. So at this point, it's obvious this is a punishment against Pocket Pair. But as far as their patent goes, seeing that there's very clear past examples dating more than a decade ago, how the hell did it get approved anyway? Well, to really be able to explain to you what's going on right now, we need to briefly go back to what a patent actually is. As we saw earlier, the realistic approach to what a patent actually is a right to try to exclude by asserting the patent in court. We've already established that only 0.1% of all patents actually go to trial, so one could say that many of them are actually invalid. They've just never been contested in court. And the US Patent Office is constantly swamped by a backlog. So with all these things combined, now let's think of the employee working at the US Patent Office. You see a
this is a perfect storm.
It technically ticks all the boxes needed to be approved. You have two choices. You either approve it, move on with your day, go back home, see your family, have dinner and sleep, or you can be a smartass and contest it, knowing that the company's going to contest your decision immediately. This means that the nice lunches and dinners you were getting with Nintendo's lawyers that you've built a friendly relationship with would all disappear. And this also means you've just unlocked yourself more work. Why the hell would you do that to yourself? You know what a patent actually means. It's the right to exclude others. And you know what? If it's a bogus patent, then hey, let them figure it out in court. Either way, it wouldn't be your fault. This is exactly why Nintendo was able to do what it's doing and why patent trolls exist to begin with. But if you thought this was bad, then wait till you see what Nintendo's doing at the same time. Yes, believe it or not, it does get more ridiculous. Nintendo has always hated mods, even though they're created by players and have no affiliation with the games themselves. They've always made it a point to target the game developers themselves, as if they were the ones to make mods that infringe on their copyrights. Something completely unreasonable that has always pissed off people who value creative freedom, especially, see, one of the very creative ways Palworld is pursuing Nintendo's patent claims is by showing that the things being presented in the patent.
I guess even more obnoxious. Lord.
Were already done by people beforehand. This is the easiest way to invalidate a patent. One of those prior examples that Palworld is pushing is a mod called Pocket Souls for Dark Souls 3 that uses an extremely similar mechanic to their whole Pokeball patent. Even though it's not a standalone game in a mod, it's showing that someone already came up with this idea back in 2020, even though the parent lawsuit of the Pokeball mechanic was made in 2021. This technically goes against what a patent is. You're not the first one that came up with the idea, even if you just so happen to be the first person to actually file a patent for it. It doesn't work that way. Well, what was Nintendo's argument here? Mods aren't real games. This is coming from the same company that has personally taken down mods for other games and its own games for copyright infringement. This is very clearly showing us that they have such a hate boner for Pocket Pair that its own lawyers are starting to self-destruct. I mean, now in Japan, they're in a catch-22 situation. They either admit that mods are actual games and invalidate their patent, or they don't, and they invalidate all the lawsuits of people who are making mods of their copyrighted material in other games. It's a lose-lose situation. That's how clouded by hate they are right now in regards to Palworld. It's ridiculous. I mean, by this point, it doesn't take a genius to understand this is an injustice going on right before our very eyes. How can Nintendo keep getting away with this? And are you, the viewer, just meant to sit down in despair watching this all unfold without being able to do anything? Well, no, you can do something, and believe me, people have tried. In anticipation of the Nintendo Switch 2 console coming out, many people have vowed to boycott over Nintendo's anti-consumer practices, since they essentially want to monopolize anything that has to do with capturing cute creatures in a game. Well, the console released, and it ended up selling over 3.5 million units worldwide in its first 4 days, becoming the fastest selling Nintendo hardware ever globally. Yeah, that boycott failed spectacularly, and this happened in the middle of their Palworld lawsuit. It seemed like Nintendo was hated worldwide over its anti-consumer practices, but at the same time, nothing could stop them from selling pretty much anything. But hold on, before you fall back into utter despair, I have some good news. Recently, we've come to find that the invincible Nintendo actually has a very big weakness. That's right, they have their own version of kryptonite, the one thing that scares them and can take them down, and the way we found this out recently was in one of the most unexpected ways possible. On September 23rd, 2025, the Department of Homeland Security of the United States of America would post a video compilation of illegal immigrants, or as they like to call them, illegal aliens, being arrested. The caption was, "Gotta catch 'em all." The music playing was the music from the Pokemon show, and if that wasn't enough, in between cuts of people being arrested, they would start showing footage from the anime itself. Oh, and to really drive the point home, they would also create literal Pokemon cards of some of the people being arrested, giving them all 1 HP, showing the word illegal on the top left, and their description would be the crime that they committed. The official Customs and Border Protection account of the United States would also reply to this post with a gif of Pikachu, saying, "Border Patrol's newest recruit." Now, look, this was absolutely unprecedented, right? I don't think a government has ever so openly infringed on copyright like this on such a massive scale. But there we had it, right in front of our eyes. The reactions, of course, just like anything political in the United States, were mixed.
The irony. Who would have thought friggin' Border Patrol and ICE would be the heroes in this situation? So, at least initially speaking. Whoa. Anyway, let's continue.
Some people liked it, others not so much. And all of a sudden, you had a sizable amount of people that wanted Pokemon to sue the Department of Homeland Security, and I mean the U.S. government, for copyright infringement. This was such an easy lawsuit, guys. I mean, come on. And knowing how trigger-happy Nintendo's lawyers were, I mean, come on. This was bound to happen any time now. Right? People were brought to believe that this is what was going to happen. Because on the next day, the Pokemon Company International would make a statement saying, no, they did not give the U.S. Department of Homeland Security any permission to use any of its copyrights in that video. But on that same day, we'd also get another piece of news that would disappoint the fans that wanted Nintendo to sue the U.S. government. The former legal chief of Pokemon would reveal this in an interview, saying, even if I was still at the company, I wouldn't touch this, and I'm the most trigger-happy chief legal officer I've ever met. Specifically, he would give 2 reasons. The first one is, many of the executives of the Pokemon Company in the U.S. are on green cards. If they were to sue the U.S. government, they would probably lose their green cards. But the second reason he gave us was a bombshell, something that I don't think he understood how big of a deal it was. He'd say, think of how little you see the Pokemon Company International's name in the press. They are insanely publicity shy and prefer to let the brand be the brand. This statement maybe wouldn't strike you as such a big deal. In reality, though, this is him openly revealing Nintendo's kryptonite. You see, there's a reason Nintendo takes on all the lawsuits by themselves. They never involve the Pokemon Company International if they don't have to. It's because they're used to being hated. They know it doesn't affect their business, and they just frankly don't care. On the other hand, though, think about it. How many times have you seen the Pokemon Company International directly and personally involved in lawsuits? The reason why their statement about Palworld was so exceedingly rare is because this never happens. They only did it in an effort to legitimize the lawsuit that would eventually come from Nintendo. But overall, they care deeply about their reputation.
Yeah.
This is something that people like Andrew from the channel Legal Mindset.
Oh, this guy's a friggin' amazing follow.
Criticism of the Pokemon Company International, not just in English, but also using Japanese hashtags. He, as well as many other people, believe that if Pokemon Company International receives enough backlash on social media, more specifically, while being given the impression that they're becoming unpopular in Japan, then Nintendo will finally back off from Palworld and stop trying to make them some sort of example while trying to monopolize an entire genre of games. The biggest threat here is Nintendo somehow succeeding in its goals, either by bankrupting Palworld or by somehow using its huge influence in Japan to win the lawsuit. If that's the case, it'll encourage other big video game companies to not fear litigation of patents anymore and go after smaller developers that threaten their money, killing all competition and monopolizing literal game genres. So if you're actually outraged by what's going on, then hey, this might be a solution. Legally speaking, I have nothing to do with this, alright? So yeah, I wish Palworld the best. I hope Nintendo doesn't succeed in anything it's doing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped.
What, there's no, like, call to action? Like, can we petition something, or... Okay, that was kind of a... Huh. That's interesting. Alright, well, this is a really fun watch through from Mugen. He's done a lot of, like, drama and issue type YouTube things, so... As you can see, he's done like a lot of stuff. This is where I first heard about the whole pirate software situation. Learned more about really shitty practices of VTuber corpos. Most recent being VShojo, but this is where I got a lot of the tea on Nijisanji. Hey, that rhymed. And then this one, the whole Cinder situation. This is pre-Mega Google Docky that just came out recently. But there's just like so many things here, man. And I don't watch them all just because there's a lot of stuff I just don't fucking care about, to be honest. But there's a couple in here. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Like the Nintendo one was good. The VTuber stuff, depending on the situation, is pretty good. I think. My personal stance. All right, so we can tick this guy off the list. Let me see here. Let's go Complete History of Cartoon Network by Mothy Moth. This guy, I guess he had like another channel previously, but I found his now new channel, Mothy Moth, and he's done a lot of really good stuff. Here, let me hold on before we get too into the weeds here. He's only got like 1.36K subs. But this guy, major shout out to this guy. Everything that I've watched all of his shit, actually. You know, I watched this one. We're watching this one now. Watched all these other ones. It's good stuff. I think this is either a secondary channel or a new channel. I'm not really sure, but I guess apparently he had some kind of big following previously, but is starting over with this Mothy Moth business. But his pacing and coverage of stuff is like chef's kiss. So yeah, your boy can definitely watch this one. So anyway, be sure to give a sub, a little likey, and let's continue.
Our nostalgic-minded brains, the network is impossible to miss when discussing nostalgia for the kids.
Is Cartoon Network overrated? Bullshit.
With iconic shows being made one after another, it's...
Now I will say for context, like growing up during the 90s, like I was definitely a Nickelodeon kid. But in the probably early to mid 2000s was kind of my big Cartoon Network watching period. I would watch it on occasion for like certain things before that, but you know, like obviously Toonami was huge. That's what really got me into anime as a genre. Like I'd watched anime before I even knew it was anime. Like I said, a lot of my early anime that I would watch pre-Toonami would be stuff like Samurai Pizza Cats, Ronin Warriors, Speed Racer, just to show my age. So you'd see those reruns on TV a lot. I wouldn't even know it was anime. The word anime didn't even exist back then. If you were to call it anything, I think the term back in like the 80s and pre-Toonami 90s was Japanimations. Japan-based animations. So like anime or anime